the doors, bolt the windows, and power up your Wii. The best Mario adventure in a decade has arrived, and you'll want to set aside plenty of time to play Super Mario Galaxy! Yep, what he said. Like all games in the proud Mario tradition, it begins with an invitation from Princess Peach. As is the case with most pagan Mario rituals, the party is crashed by Bowser and his gang of thugs. They steal the castle, kidnap the princess, and send you into outer space. Fortunately, you meet up with an intergalactic hottie named Rosalina, who's on a mission to help out these chubby little star creatures. By saving them, you activate new areas of her spaceship, which then allows you to rescue Princess Peach. Maybe Mario should just stick with Rosalina. I mean, he would be kind of trading up. No offense, Peach. If you're afraid you'll initially like the game, only to be ultimately disappointed, as was the case with Super Mario Sunshine, we're happy to report that this one sustains all the way through. Super Mario Galaxy contains an overwhelming amount of fan service, from classic music cues to the reappearance of fan favorites like Magic Koopa to bombastic Bowser boss fights. Uses of the Wii controls are actually surprisingly minimal. You can shake the controller to do a spin and pick up star bits simply by pointing at them. But besides a few special areas that require you to use the motion sensitivity, you won't feel like they're shoehorning the game to fit the controller. That doesn't mean the gameplay is remedial. This is advanced platforming that builds on the foundation of every run and jump game ever, and takes them about 100 steps further. What Portal was the first-person shooters, Super Mario Galaxy is the platform games. You can beat it with only 60 stars, but if you're like us, you'll still work hard to achieve all 120 of them. Two small gripes though. Underwater swimming still sucks. Fortunately, there's barely any required to beat the game. Also, why bother giving us a bazillion lives when they just take them away whenever you take a break? Since the game just puts you back in the hub world, why bother with the whole life system anyway? But those are relatively small complaints. We're happy to report that virtually every challenge has been play tested until it's perfect. In our experience, getting every possible star, the only glitch was this one, when we lost sight of Mario and couldn't get the camera back on our side. Oh, and did we mention you can save your brother Luigi? And what is up with him in Haunted Mansions anyway? When it comes down to it, nothing can live up to the first time you've played Super Mario 64. Seeing the little guy in 3D for the first time was a revelation, and you'll never be able to completely recreate that feeling of wonderment. But this game comes as close as humanly possible. Super Mario Galaxy gets 5 Wahoos out of 5.
New Super Mario Bros. Is out for the Wii, so what better time to celebrate the history of video game royalty? He's been in over 200 games and sold hundreds of millions of copies. He first appeared in 1981 as the nemesis of Donkey Kong, dodging barrels to save the girl. The character, Mario Segali, was named after Nintendo's landlord. He got overalls because it made his arms easier to see. A hat meant programmers didn't have to draw hair, and his mustache avoided the need for a mouth. Donkey Kong was a huge hit and got Mario a brother, Luigi, and their own game, Mario Brothers. When the video game industry took a dip in the mid-'80s, it was Mario who brought it back. The NES came bundled with Super Mario Bros. And made the console a hit. Super Mario Bros. 3 became the second best-selling video game of all time. The Super Mario Land series introduced Wario and gave the new Game Boy a big boost. In 1991, Super Mario World for the SNES outsold the upstart Sonic the Hedgehog. In the 90s, Mario was everywhere, from go-kart racing to tennis and learning games. For the N64, Mario went 3D and got a voice. It was one of the first games to go 3D and get it right. Mario Bros. 2 was deemed too difficult for American gamers, so Nintendo released titles like Super Smash and an RPG with a different style of gameplay. After a long wait, players were hungry for traditional Mario, but Super Mario Sunshine deviated too far from the game everyone loved. More recently, Mario came to the Wii in Super Mario Bros. Galaxy, the second best-selling title for the console. And now the updated classic is here, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. It's the Mario game we've been waiting for, with elements from the classics and new features. It's long overdue, and we say, welcome back, Mario.
Mario and his famous karts are back on the track once again, and for the first time ever in 3D. Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS doesn't reinvent the wheel, but there's enough adjustments and upgrades to the game to make it one of the best entries in the long-running series. Mario's 7th time around the track adds 3D, online play, and a variety of unlockable content, but it's the renewed focus on actual racing rather than on-track chaos that makes this Mario Kart stand out from the previous games. Customization is the key to victory, especially with the introduction of the hang glider. The first time you sprout your wings and fly, you'll be oohing and aahing as you figure out how to work this new skill into your lap strategy. We also love the addition of the propeller, which adds to the fun by allowing your kart to cruise underwater. Mario Kart 7 also offers up a solid mix of old and new, with 17 characters and 32 tracks to unlock. The retro-themed tracks will have you reliving 2 decades of your favorite Mario memories, while the new tracks will steer you in the direction of undiscovered routes and hidden treasures. The only real complaint about the single-player game is there's not enough of it. Thankfully, the 8-player competitive racing is excellent both online and locally. Unfortunately, Nintendo's online support suffers due to the cumbersome way they match games. You'll be able to play strangers in single races, but have to enter a code to join teams in community mode. Despite this hassle, the online play is competitive and fun. Mario Kart 7 may be mostly more of the same, but for longtime fans, that's not a bad thing. The new additions are solid and the racing is undeniably terrific. Mario Kart 7 gets 4 wipeouts out of 5. It's been 25 years since the iconic Plumbers debut, and Nintendo is going all out to honor their legendary hero, right? Not so much. Like a husband scrambling to throw something together the day of his anniversary, Nintendo is celebrating Mario's momentous occasion by re-gifting something that's been sitting in the closet since 1993. Super Mario All-Stars has been lifted from a cartridge and slapped onto a disc without a single piece of new content or added change aside from support for the Wii Remote. This shouldn't disparage hardcore Mario fans from buying the collection, just serve as a warning for those not paying attention to what this release really consists of. Super Mario All-Stars comes with 4 games included on one disc: Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, and Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. One of the biggest issues we have is that all 4 titles are already available for direct download on the Wii. Savvy gamers can download them individually for less than they can buy Super Mario All-Stars. Included in the box comes some very cool extras, including a History of Mario booklet that features creator Shigeru Miyamoto's proposal for the original Super Mario Bros. The addition of the booklet alone may be enough to make this an automatic buy for Nintendo collectors. Also included is a CD featuring theme songs from the original Super Mario Bros. All the way through Super Mario Galaxy 2. Who doesn't smell when they hear the original Mario ground theme? Sorry, but that grin may fade when you learn that half of the 20 tracks on the CD are just sound effects. For Mario's 25th birthday, we expected more. Sure, it's only $30 and is most likely destined to fetch more than twice its asking price on eBay after the limited run expires, but this is no ordinary character and no ordinary publisher. Being able to save during the game was a nice addition, but the lack of in-game extras or bonuses leave this game a little flat. It feels like 5-star gameplay with a 3-star effort. Hopefully Nintendo will throw together something a little more special for the little guy's 30th. If he's not worthy, nobody is. Super Mario All-Stars gets 3 squished Goombas out of 5.
There have been a lot of great Mario mysteries over the years, but the Mario mysteries we're investigating today are of a more serious matter. We're taking a look at the strangest glitches and most bizarre cheats you can pull off. We begin with a trick from the original Super Mario Bros. At the end of World 1-2, it's possible to glitch through the last wall. Observe. Just head down the pipe and bam! You're in a brave new world. An infinitely repeating water world, it's called Minus World because the readout at the top of the screen actually says World -1. In Super Mario Bros. 3, the weirdest whistle was hidden in plain view. In World 1-3, there's a white block that you can stand on top of. Squat down for about 3 seconds and you actually fall behind the scenery. Then you can run to the end of the level and meet up with your stoic friend Toad, who gives up the flute with no arguments. But our favorite mystery happens in Super Mario 64. Because it was a trailblazing 3D game, there are a ton of polygonal glitches and gaffes. The best one is a series of tweaks that allow you to beat the entire game with minimal stars. First, get 15 stars, so that the rabbit appears in the basement of Peach's castle. While holding the Whittle Wabbit, slowly walk towards the door and let the bunny go. You'll glitch into the door, pick him back up, and bingo! You've got a free-range rabbit. Take him to the sliding doors, and you can use the bunny again to cheat your way through to the second encounter with Bowser.
Here we go!
Now that you have the key to the third story, you can actually break on through to the other side using backwards long jumps up the stairs. Get enough speed, and you'll fire through the locked doors to the 4th floor. You can even use that same trick to defeat Bowser's infinite staircase. Mario's gonna have some serious rug burn. Anyway, once you're at the top, you can face off with the main man himself. Use your charm and guile to throw him into an exploding mine, and voila! You've defeated Super Mario 64 in about 1/100th of the time it took Adam. Don't tell him I said that.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
Nintendo's Portobello Poster Boy is back and makes his next-gen debut with Super Paper Mario for the Wii. This time around, a mysterious baddie named Count Bleck ransacks the Mushroom Kingdom, sucking its inhabitants into an alternate dimension, leaving Mario out like cold spaghetti. Our hero is resuscitated by a rainbow-radiating butterfly, who then teleports our hero to a town called Flipside, where they learn, in order to defeat Count Bleck and save the universe, Mario must collect 8 pure hearts. Straying from the pages of the previous Paper Mario titles, Super Paper Mario completely discards the turn-based gameplay for traditional 2D platforming. Fear not, Paper Mario purists, there are still plenty of RPG elements, and we all know the best part of an RPG is the party. Mario has the ability to periodically switch from 2D to 3D on the fly. While the 2D world plays like a traditional Mario platformer, the 3D world contains hidden pathways and the ability to avoid obstacles that can't be done in a 2D realm. Mushroom Kingdom socialite Princess Peach is blessed with the power of a parasol and has the womanly assets to get what she wants. Bowser has the firepower, and Luigi can jump high. A cast of loyal pixels also joins the team, each granting Mario and company with special secondary powers like ground pounding, throwing, and slimming abilities. Look, it's Paris Hilton 1 minute, Nicole Richie the next. The game is literally laugh out loud funny. And there's plenty of toilet humor too, oddly appropriate from a game about paper. Unfortunately, the game is weighed down with a bit too much text. On occasion, it feels like Chef Boyardee has replaced my game with a bowl of ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Overall, Super Paper Mario is fun and innovative in all aspects, especially the 2D to 3D level integration. Featuring a little spice from the 80s, in addition to the best ingredients from both RPG and platform, adds a new zesty kick to Nintendo's classic Italian flavor. Super Paper Mario gets a 4 out of 5. At number 5, we have new Super Mario Bros. For the DS. At long last, Nintendo returns the Mario series to its roots with a side-scrolling 3D platforming gem. New Super Mario Bros. Harkens back to simpler times while using the modern tech of the DS to do things never before seen in a Mario title. Clocking in at number 4 is the immortal original Super Mario Bros. It may seem old-fashioned, overly familiar, and even quaint by today's standards, but back in 1985, there was nothing else like it. It was originally released as an arcade game, and the fact that you could get a near-perfect version of it with the shiny new Nintendo Entertainment System was almost more than our pixie stick-saturated brains could handle. Stepping into more modern times, we find number 3, Super Mario 64. Mario's first foray into 3D redefined how 3D action games controlled. Mario's responsive, analog-driven movement was light years beyond the stiff, grid-like controls 3D games had suffered with before it. Despite refinements of the formula in future N64 platformers, Mario 64 occupies a special place in our hearts for being the first and, well, for being Mario. Number 2, Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, a lot of you weren't expecting this one yet, were you? Not the pinnacle of the series, but arguably the pinnacle of the NES. Super Mario Bros. 3 was seen by many American fans as a return to greatness. Mamma mia! After the strange and oddly un-Mario Super Mario Bros. 2, the third game brought back the game mechanics of the original. It also marked the introduction of many mainstays of the Mario universe. At number 1, the Super Nintendo masterpiece, Super Mario World. Sure, it bears some small stigma for bringing Yoshi into existence, but this gigantic, colorful, joy-filled game simply sings from beginning to end. With flawless controls, brilliantly conceived levels and game mechanics, and some of the best music in the series. Super Mario World represents the apex of not just the Mario series, but 2D platforming as a whole.
New Super Mario Bros. U meets or exceeds all of our expectations. The thing is, we really didn't have any expectations other than the fact that it's a game, and it probably stars Mario.
Oh yeah, Mario time!
Oh, Mario, you filthy bastard. Anyway, this is the first Mario game to launch with new system hardware since Super Mario 64 back in 1996, so it's kind of a big deal. It may not be the must-have game that title was, but New Super Mario Bros. U offers a lot of cooperative fun. The experience is unlike anything out there. You can assign one person to play with Nintendo's touchscreen gamepad. That person lays down blocks for the others to jump on. Generally, that helps out the other players who are controlling with the Wiimote. But you can sort of grief your friends by blocking their way, if you're a total jerk. In fact, the new Boost Rush mode is all about this cooperative mechanic because it's focused on getting brutally lower times. But here is the most important thing in this review. Your experience with New Super Mario Bros. U is completely dependent on who you have to play with. Believe it or not, this is the year 2012 and Nintendo still hasn't included online multiplayer. So if this weirdo is the guy you happen to have in your house, well, guess what? That's who you're gonna be playing Mario with. Yes, I know, it's tough to understand why the online features are so lacking, considering that Nintendo spent a good chunk of this year's E3 press conference talking about their social strategy for the Wii U.
It's a new real-time social window that opens up right as you're playing.
I guess those were simpler times when things were gonna be different. We were so young and naive way back in June. If you play by yourself, it's so similar to the other games in the franchise that we just can't recommend it. So grab your friends and/or coworkers if you want to have a fun time with this. We beat the main story mode in under 8 hours, and the difficulty in the first half of the game is pretty low. But certain co-op challenges are hair-pullingly hard. Overall, New Super Mario Bros. U is a sturdy, solid addition to Mario's stable of platformers. But it's also a bit forgettable. Hopefully the Wii U has more creative and original plans in store for our friend Mario. And Nintendo, please get your act together and start including online features in your games. There's really no excuse at this point. New Super Mario Bros. U gets 3.5 mustache rides out of 5.
In 1992, Nintendo dropped Mario is Missing for the PC, and it was later ported to the NES and Super Nintendo. If you were to make a list of what's fun about Mario, it would include running, jumping, and wearing vaguely erotic animal suits. This game includes none of those things. Mario is Missing is an educational game designed to teach school children about geography, and it's about as fun as it sounds. How fun is that exactly? Well, it's approximately as enjoyable as being kicked in the groin while playing Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Mario is missing, and so is the fun. Which brings us to Yoshi's Cookie, an apathetic puzzle game that Nintendo regurgitated onto the Game Boy and NES in 1992. First off, having a male dinosaur who craps out eggs is a stupid idea. Secondly, this is a bad Dr. Mario ripoff. Your goal is to mix and match cookies to achieve the highest score possible. Honestly, Nintendo, a cookie party? Why don't you just ask players to wear a dress? Gamers needed this like a diabetic needs an Andes mint milkshake with lard on top. But as bad as that was, the most egregious abortion ever spawned for the Mushroom Kingdom is Luigi's Mansion. When Nintendo launched the GameCube in 2001, players were greeted not with the Mario game, but with a Luigi game. That's sort of like going to a Rolling Stones concert, only to find out Rascal Flatts is filling in. It was impossible to play the game without constantly being reminded of what we really want for a system launch. A new Super Mario adventure where we can explore a trippy fantasy universe. Instead, we get his low-energy younger brother sucking up ghosts with a vacuum. But even though these game blew and sucked, Mario mistakes are actually quite few and far between, and for that, we're thankful.
Here we go!
Super Smash Bros. Brawl is quite simply everything anyone could love about Nintendo rolled into one ridiculously jam-packed game. From the huge character roster, to the inventive new stages, to the extensive adventure mode, it's everything Melee was, but bigger and better. The base game remains the same. Highest score or last man standing wins. The formula works and the balance remains as tight as always. Other than a slight speed reduction, this is the same gameplay that has made the Smash Bros. Series a perennial favorite. For the friendless, there's the added bonus of near-flawless online play. Brawl's most important new feature works like a charm, and is so lag-free, it's hard to tell you're not playing with people on your couch. Lurking on the solo side is the Subspace Emissary, an expansive adventure for 1 or 2 players that takes you through the rudimentary storyline of the game. This 8 to 10 hour romp feels a little like Kingdom Hearts with all the cameos and crossovers going on. Conveniently, playing through this mode will unlock all the characters by the end of the tale, which is good for people who don't want to play hundreds of versus matches just to unlock their favorite fighters. Go! And of course you have the event challenges, classic mode, the stage editor, hundreds of trophies and stickers to collect, dozens of music tracks to unlock. There's enough content in Brawl to keep you busy for months, if not years. Clearly, even in this era of minigame collections and voting channels, Nintendo has not forsaken the hardcore. Super Smash Bros. Brawl opens 5 cans of whoop-ass out of 5.